But several women have said that you made them uncomfortable, you continued to harass them.
Breaking his silence, Roseburg Senator Jeff Cruz is tracked down amid calls from his colleagues to resign. What he has to say. Plus, this high-speed chase that stretched more than 80 miles will show you where it ended.
And our weather pattern is becoming a little bit more active. I'll show you when chances for rain arrive. Coming up now at KEZI 9 News this morning.
Live, local, late breaking. This is KEZI 9 News this morning.
Good morning to you. It's 5 a.m. Thursday, February 8th. I'm Brian Anderson. Sean Quayer is out sick. Let's check in with Storm Tracker 9 meteorologist Dave Holder with a look at your weather and traffic every 9 minutes. And Dave, we've got some cold temperatures behind you there.
Yeah, looking at cold temperatures once again this morning. A very repetitive pattern.
Yeah.
We're doing it all over again today with warm afternoon highs, but cool start to the morning here. Let's go ahead and take a look at those temperatures to start you off here. Upper 30s through the Willamette Valley right now. Out to the coast, we're looking at low 40s. We'll go ahead and take a look at your current conditions right now out in Eugene. A little bit of patchy fog out there, but yeah, it's cool, 38 degrees with some clearing skies, a few stars overhead, south winds at 5 miles per hour. And here we go with our Storm Tracker 9 satellite and radar. Starting to get a little bit more active. That jet stream starting to come back down to the south. And yeah, visibility reduced in Roseburg right now. That is where we're watching fog for. As well as Corvallis, both Corvallis and Roseburg, down to 0.3 of a mile visibility this morning. Your day today, well, we'll see a little bit of fog and some sunshine again, get up to near 60 degrees, so another warm day on tap. However, we'll watch those clouds begin to increase by later this afternoon into the evening hours ahead of a cold front that will move through our area late tonight into early tomorrow morning. I'll show you what those updated chances for any precipitation are coming up in a few minutes. Right now, Brian, back to you.
New this morning, embattled Senator Jeff Cruz isn't going anywhere. He says that he's not stepping down despite an investigation finding that he inappropriately touched women in the Capitol for years. Take a listen to what little Cruz had to say when confronted just yesterday.
Several women have said that you made them uncomfortable, you continued to harass them.
No comment. We're going through a formal process. We will let the process play out.
The governor and others have asked that you step down. Will you be doing that?
We're learning Senator Cruz has agreed to leave the Capitol building for 2 weeks. He won't return to his office until there's a conduct hearing later this month. Senator Sarah Gelser is one of his accusers.
I want Senator Cruz to resign. He should resign. People should call on him to resign.
The highest standard of conduct in this building, and we have rules that we have to follow.
The Senate Conduct Committee will read through the investigation against Cruz in a public hearing. That meeting is on February 22nd. New reaction this morning from a VA surgeon who was fired. As we've reported, Dr. Scott Rusi was let go from the Eugene VA hospital last year. Now he's telling us he's still being retaliated against.
Protection should be equal across the board for all employees. Doesn't matter what your status is. And to selectively apply one rule to a part-time versus a full-time employee is not acceptable.
Rusi says since we first told you about him in November, 2 nurses who defended him have been fired as well. Sharon Blassie doesn't want to run the Oregon Department of Veterans Affairs anymore. She was Governor Brown's choice. Blassie isn't commenting on her decision to step down as acting director. The VA says Blassie will remain in a leadership position there. Mitch Spakers becomes acting director. Developing news this morning, investigators are trying to figure out how a fire started inside a Lebanon home. Take a look at this video from the Lebanon Fire District. The house is on the corner of Russell Drive and Porter Street. Firefighters responded just after 8 last night. It took them about 45 minutes to get that fire under control. Investigators say nobody was inside, so no one was hurt. We have video of troopers arresting a motorcyclist after a high-speed chase stretching about 80 miles. Take a look here. That's the suspect in handcuffs. The chase on I-5 started south of Albany noon yesterday. It ended all the way down in Cottage Grove. We're working to find out the name of that motorcyclist. Eugene Police's K-9 Quick helped catch another burglar on the run. Derek Payton is waking up in jail, accused of stealing from a business on Seneca Road yesterday. He was so desperate to flee, that police say he even changed clothes in someone's backyard. Didn't work. Officers and Quick tracked him down on Gilbert Street. And a man accused of trying to kidnap a woman in Lynn County is facing charges this morning. Deputies say Joshua Jarrett was waiting inside a trailer on Eid Road outside Lebanon for a woman who had a restraining order against him. Deputies say that he pointed a gun at her and her brother when they went inside. They say the man was able to wrestle the gun away from Jarrett, which turned out to be a pellet gun. Deputies say they found makeshift restraints in that trailer Jarrett was going to use to restrain that woman, but he was arrested. Now we want to get to some amazing pictures of a rescue after a woman fell off a bridge last night. Take a look at these photos from Riddle. Rescue teams say the woman fell about 25 feet and was hanging onto some branches above the river. This was around 10:45. They say they had to use a new 100-foot ladder truck with a rescue system to rescue her. She was taken to the hospital. President Trump's idea to drill off the West Coast raising a lot of questions for Oregonians. The Interior Department spent the day in Salem yesterday trying to answer some of those questions while protesters gathered at the Capitol. Opponents say the drilling would not only endanger marine life, it would destroy the beauty of our coast and put risk fishing, recreation, and tourism. People in favor, though, say that the drilling would be good for the economy and make the U.S. less dependent on foreign oil.
$338 million is left in our coastal communities annually from visitors that come from all around the world.
Our economy is heavily dependent on fossil fuels at this time, and you know, that's the argument for going forward.
A number of Western senators, including Oregon's Ron Wyden and Jeff Merkley, are pressing the Interior Department on plans to change management of sagebrush ecosystems. In a letter to Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke, the senators expressed concern about new guidelines issued by the Bureau of Land Management. They argue these new guidelines overturn ones that protect these habitats from oil and gas drilling. The Eugene Police Department is talking about naloxone today. Naloxone can be used to counter the effects of heroin overdoses or other opioids as a critical emergency measure. Naloxone can be used when Eugene police are sent to calls of overdoses or when they themselves are exposed to opioids on duty that can have life-threatening consequences. Officers have offered naloxone, one brand name is Narcan, to staff, and Eugene police employees who complete the training and choose to carry the naloxone will be provided with a single dose. The 15th annual Affair of the Heart is right around the corner. For just $3, you can spend a fun evening of heart-healthy events, fitness demonstrations, and dozens of vendors promoting health, wellness, food, and beauty. All the money goes to the Children's Miracle Network at Sacred Heart and Food for Lane County. This is happening today, and the Oregon Cancer Foundation is also benefiting. This is all at the Lane Events Center from 3 to 8 today. A Portland family of a 17-year-old boy who was shot and killed by police are claiming that he was on his knees and not a threat when an officer shot him 3 times. He was a suspect in an armed robbery in Northeast Portland. In a confrontation with police, officers ordered him to keep his hands up and crawl towards them. The officer said reportedly that when Hayes reached for his waistband, he fired. A grand jury ruled the shooting was justified and no charges were filed. The victim's family says they want justice.
We don't feel hopeless. We don't feel defeated. We're going to continue to fight, right? And we're going to continue to fight, more importantly, because we believe Quanis deserves that, right?
Hayes did not have a gun on him. Officers found an airsoft pistol a few feet away from his body. We reached out to the city for comment on the lawsuit, but we have not heard back. Video you do not want to miss this morning. A grandmother and her 1-year-old grandson kicked off a bus left in the rain. We'll tell you where this happened and why it has people furious right after the break.
And taking a look at the current precipitation chances situation, not looking at anything falling right now. However, we may get some rain in our area. I'll show you when it arrives coming up after the break.
Now, Storm Tracker 9 weather with meteorologist Dave Holder.
Welcome back, everybody. Let's go take a look at our current conditions right now here in Eugene. Looking to see if we can find any fog. Now, the fog has been a little more isolated, a little fewer and far in between as other spots this morning, as have been Corvallis and Roseburg. Right now, 38 degrees in Eugene, so it is cooled off a bit. And we have a light south wind there at 5 miles per hour. Temperatures are coldest in the northern part of our Willamette Valley here, 38 in Corvallis there, 38 in Cottage Grove, 41 right now in Roseburg, and 43 in Coos Bend, 42 in Florence. So our jet stream has flattened out a little bit, and that is bringing a little more active weather back into the Pacific Northwest, or at least the United States part of the Pacific Northwest. And there are a few showers off toward north, but more clouds entering the picture. As we zoom on in, looking at dry conditions right now, still looking at the clouds not moving on in towards Douglas County. Most of the clouds are back to the north and to the west there up towards Lincoln County. As I roll stormcast here, those clouds will increase here through the later part of the day. You can expect mostly sunny skies for most of the viewing area, including the southern section of the coast and the I-5 corridor. However, you'll notice those low clouds starting to move on in this afternoon up towards Lincoln County, maybe up towards Corvallis, starting to see an increase in clouds. And notice that the greens start to show up here on our stormcast by late this evening. Mainly along the Santiam Pass there and out towards the northern parts of our coast is where we'll see some precipitation fall later today. The snow elevation will be rather high, so we'll be looking at maybe just a few light sprinkles in the form of rain up across the mountain pass. And then eventually the snow elevation will lower, so we could get a few flurries up there by tomorrow morning. And early tomorrow morning, we could see a few light showers in the Willamette Valley, but everything generally very light. You can see that cold front just basically washes out by the time it fully pushes through the area. So we'll be left with just a few residual clouds out there by the noon hour tomorrow, and a few high clouds out there through the day, but mostly dry once more. The temperatures will feel a lot cooler. That cold front will have moved in a little cold air. Now, by Saturday morning, we're going to be looking at another dry start to your weekend, although another system could roll in by the end of the weekend, giving us more chances for precipitation. All right, your regional forecast today along the coast, highs in the mid-50s out there, increasing clouds, and a slight chance of a late afternoon, evening shower, particularly up towards Lincoln County there. The Umpqua Basin, 63 in Sutherland today, 64 in Roseburg, looking at patchy fog and relatively warm again. Temperatures will be well above average. The Cascades, highs in the low 60s for McKenzie Bridge and Oak Ridge, low 50s for the mountain passes. Light rain shower possible up towards the Santiam Pass here. Otherwise, we're going to be looking at just increasing clouds through the afternoon. In the Willamette Valley, 59 in Eugene, 58 in Corvallis today. Little patchy fog out there. Right now, it looks like the most widespread fog is up towards Corvallis. We'll see some sunshine here by the late morning into the afternoon. So your 7-day forecast, 56 today along the coast. Tomorrow, 51, slight chance in the morning, and then dry by Saturday, mostly sunny. That next system does roll in Sunday afternoon into Monday. We'll call for a few isolated showers with highs in the low 50s before we dry again. We are drying out again by the middle of next week. The Umpqua Basin, 64 today. We're down to 53 tomorrow, so those temperatures will drop. Highs in the low 50s through the weekend, and then a slight chance early next week. Highs only in the upper 40s, however, with that cloud cover. The Cascades, sunshine up there today. Maybe just a slight chance late this evening. And then another slight chance tomorrow morning of light flurry. More flurries by Sunday afternoon. In the Willamette Valley, 59 today with morning fog and afternoon sun. 40 degrees tonight, 51 tomorrow, so cooler tomorrow. And we'll keep those temperatures rather cool, much more closer to seasonal averages by the end of the weekend, with the next chance of precipitation late Sunday evening. No widespread rain, no heavy rain, just a couple chances here for some light showers, Brian, as we continue to push on into middle part of February.
It's been so dry that, you know, I think people are looking towards the end of our 7-day forecast to see.
To keep seeing if there's going to be any more rain, but it doesn't look like it right now. In fact, it just stays dry. At
what point is there no turning back? Like, are we going to possibly see a return to normalcy, or are we getting, you know, past that period?
Well, we still got a few more months to go for those real precipitation chances. So we could make up, but the further and further we go that without precipitation, we just continue to add to that deficit. So it's going to be harder to make up as we get into towards the spring season.
Okay, thank you, Dave. Do you live in the most dangerous city in Oregon? A new report sheds light on the most crime-ridden cities. You'll find out where Eugene landed on that list.
Live, local, late breaking. This is KEZI 9 News This Morning with Brian Anderson, Sean Cuellar, and meteorologist Dave Holder.
A Portland police sergeant has admitted to lying. That sergeant says he did so to keep a protester from videoing him. This stems back to a Dakota Access Pipeline protest in 2016. The man videoing the sergeant filed a complaint that led to an investigation. In this morning's Crime Alert, a new FBI report shows which cities in Oregon are the most dangerous, and Springfield is in the top 5. The Crime in the United States report found Medford took the top spot this year. Lincoln City came in second, followed by Portland. The 4th most dangerous city in Oregon, Springfield. Salem is 5th. And Eugene is 6th. The annual report looks at violent crimes and property crimes in cities of at least 5,000 people. If you're feeling unsafe, you might consider a move to Junction City. It's the safest city in the state, followed by Brookings and Sherwood. New video shows what happened when a 71-year-old grandmother and her 1-year-old grandson were kicked off a TriMet bus left out in the pouring rain. We first told you about this incident late last month, and the transit organization now released the video from that day. It happened along Highway 224. The family says this woman boarded a relatively empty bus. The driver asked her to fold up her stroller. As you can see, though, she was taken off the bus. At one point in the video, you even see another passenger try to help her. But when she didn't fold it up enough, the family says that driver kicked her off. Well, a TriMet spokesperson said they are looking into this incident, and this is not the level of customer service they say they expect from their drivers. One of the biggest days in a high school athlete's life is here. It's National Signing Day. Oregon and Oregon State landed some of the final pieces to their 2018 class. We'll pick through those pieces next.
Now, from the Three Rivers Casino Resort Sports Desk, KEZI 9 Sports with Mike Scow.
National Signing Day, sending young athletes on to the next season of their athletic careers. There's also drama like there was today for Florida commit Jacob Copeland. After announcing he's choosing Florida, that's his mom standing up. She actually walks away in a show of disappointment, eventually returned to support her son, but it shows you just how wild college football recruiting is. Many expected Oregon signing day to be drama-filled. It was. Hosts to big targets flipped to last-second schools like USC and Florida State. But they did manage to sign a number of new players to the recruiting class. Cristobal's coaching philosophy lives on the offensive and defensive line. He even reaffirmed that concept at his press conference. 11 recruits are listed on offense. There are now 11 on defense, 1 long snapper on special teams. Here's where it gets interesting. 4 of Cristobal's recruits are on the O-line, and between them, over 1,300 pounds, 326 average apiece. 3 defensive line recruits on the slimmer side, right around 265. Cristobal said he's pleased with the way his coaching staff adjusted to the new early signing period.
A little bit different this year when you have an early signing period. That's a first, right? And I think we all have learned some good things and things that we can adjust on. But overall, just a really good job by our coaches. Great job by our coaches in filling a ton of needs and increasing the athletic ability and the length and the range of our team. Certainly certain positions acquired more power players. Others, guys that are playmakers.
Oregon State head coach Jonathan Smith says his first signing day as a head coach was a success. Among hiring a full staff, Beavs nabbed 24 players for their incoming class. Smith says the staff put a focus on addressing the linebacker position, specifically looking for more athleticism. And that's exactly what this looks like. The Beavs added 13 defensive players, including 5 linebackers. One standout among the group is Matthew Tago, a former linebacker QB combo player from Palmdale, California. Smith says he talked to Tago and talked him into playing linebacker because he felt it was a better fit.
We went after a lot of good players, but the guys we finished with and wanted, we really pretty much got. And, you know, on each side of the ball, the numbers are close to equal. Defense, we got to play some really good defense, and we're going to do that. Some of the perspective for the defense, we wanted to get a little bit longer, a little bit taller, a little bit more athletic, and you can see some of the players we signed kind of fit that bill. But, you know, I'm fired up on the offensive guys we landed as well.
So much more coming up later today. More from National Signing Day and Pac-12 basketball.
Now, Storm Tracker 9 weather with meteorologist Dave Holder.
I do have a few live shots for you right now. We have construction going on in Eugene. We have a live shot of 3rd Street between Mill Street and what I believe is High Street. Let me do that. Let me make sure. 3rd and Mill, and yes, 3rd and High. So there is obviously a detour in place there. Can't get through, so be aware of that for construction going on in that area. Let's take a look at some of our sky cams now. Go up to Corvallis. Just a little bit of fog here. Dry though at this time, and road conditions look good. There's Eugene. Not looking at any fog here. Visibility is good. Roads are dry. We'll go down to Roseburg, where we do have fog. It's foggy enough that you cannot see down towards the city lights below. And you just see the one of the antennas popping out of the fog there with the red light flashing. And there's Florence, looking at just a little patchy fog, but mostly clear conditions. Road conditions are good here. And Coos Bay, looking at the city lights below. Everything here looks good. There's live traffic 9. Of course, keeping an eye on the roads here for you. We'll take a look at some of our standard spots. There's Delta Highway, looking pretty good. Go up towards River Road or Beltline and Delta Highway. Again, conditions look good. And one more time here, back to the west on Beltline and River Road. And again, conditions look pretty good. All right, down to Roseburg we go here. And I know, like I said, we had some fog there. And obviously, very dense fog has built in towards Roseburg. Your visibility is significantly reduced. Your four-city forecast, if you are just joining us, temperatures along the mid-50s there for the coast. We're getting a bit more of an onshore flow, though. Cool temperatures down. Temperatures in the upper 50s for Corvallis and Eugene, and a high today of 64 there in Roseburg. Patchy fog will give way to sunshine with the possibility of some late evening drizzle up towards the Willamette Valley and the northern parts of our coast and out towards the Santiam Pass.
What is our deficit at right now?
About 8 inches now.
8 inches.
Yep.
So not only do we need the rain, but we need to make up that deficit. So it's going to take just a deluge, basically.
Yeah, we're going to need essentially a flood to make up for any for the deficit we have now. Now,
I do see on the computer off to your left shoulder some rain clouds. Where is that exactly? That daily forecast.
You talk about here? Or?
No, that right there.
Oh, that hasn't updated actually.
Oh, okay.
So that's actually been a static shot now for a few weeks.
Sorry, I'm looking for rain anywhere I can get it, folks.
Unfortunately, it's yeah, that's not accurate.
Oh, okay, okay. Dang. Well, we'll wait, I suppose, for more rain.
Okay.
Trapped in a sinkhole, coming up on KEZI 9 News this morning, the sound that helped rescue him. Find out where it happened and how he got stuck in there in the first place.
People make mistakes. I don't want to characterize it as that, but it's something that he's got to deal with. I have to live with my mistakes. He's got to live with his.
New reaction into our newsroom. Roseburg residents share thoughts on their embattled Senator Jeff Cruz. Plus, you're taking a live look right now at the Capitol in D.C. as another government shutdown looms still after the Senate reached a deal. So what happens now?
And a cold front on the way for later today. How will it affect your forecast? Well, so that coming up now on KEZI 9 News this morning.
Live, local, late breaking. This is KEZI 9 News this morning.
Good morning to you. It's now 5:30 on February 8th. I'm Brian Anderson. Sean Cuellar is out sick. Let's check in with Storm Tracker 9 meteorologist Dave Holder with a look at your weather and your traffic every 9 minutes, Dave.
Yeah, another cold start to your morning here. Temperatures have dropped to the upper 30s in the Willamette Valley. We'll be looking for some mild temperatures again, and the chance for rain is going up finally. But how much will we get? I'll answer that here in just a second. Let's take a look at those temperatures. 38 in Eugene, low 40s to mid 40s out along the coast where we are seeing a little bit more cloud cover. There's a look at Corvallis. We were looking at some pretty dense fog there in the last hour or so. It seems to have lifted ever so slightly. Still some patchy fog there off in the distance. You can see winds are certainly calm, and fog being reported right now at the airport with that temperature of 37 degrees. Here is Storm Tracker 9 satellite radar looking at clouds out along the coast, trying to move into the Willamette Valley. A lot of these are just high clouds ahead of that next system that we're tracking. Dry out there currently. The fog, the big story right now, down to 0.3 of a mile in Roseburg, Corvallis, probably reaching down towards Harrisburg, Junction City, seeing some fog in your area. And I suspect there's some fog that's out here in Eugene and Springfield, just not as widespread this morning. Your day today will warm up to 59 degrees, mostly sunny skies, so temperatures above average once more. But that will change here as that cold front rolls on in. Stick around, find out what your chances of rain are in your neighborhood coming up in a few minutes. Right now, though, Brian, back to you.
But several women have said that you made them uncomfortable. You continued to harass them.
No comment. We're going through a formal process. We will let the process play out.
The governor and others have asked that you step down. Will you be doing that?
No comment, he says. Oregon Senator Jeff Cruz is not stepping down. He also refused to answer questions about those misconduct allegations at the Capitol. We first told you about an investigative report Tuesday. It revealed Cruz inappropriately touched many women for years. Cruz says he'll stay away from the Capitol until the review process is done. That bombshell report claims that Cruz had a long-standing pattern of inappropriate conduct. For reaction, we spoke with Roseburg voters. Reaction with residents was mixed. There seems to be one common theme that continued to show up: shock that the allegations could be true. Community members say in a reasonably small area like this, people know each other pretty well, and many people knew Cruz as a local business owner. They say they've never seen him act inappropriately.
People make mistakes. I don't want to characterize it as that, but it's something that he's got to deal with. I have to live with my mistakes. He's got to live with his.
The independent investigation found that Cruz took part in unwanted physical contact with at least 2 senators, and he was warned about this behavior in 2016, but the report says that the behavior escalated. The Senate Conduct Committee will consider this report at a public hearing on February 22nd. Some residents spoke with us about this, representing a larger issue than just Roseburg and Senator Cruz. We have a warning this morning about a botanical substance sold in Lane County. It's now been linked to 44 deaths. It's called kratom. It's being sold as a finely ground powder that comes from a tree just like this one behind me in Southeast Asia. In this morning's health alert, supporters of this plant say that it helps pain, anxiety, and depression, but officials at the FDA say that it has similar effects to opioids and carries similar risks of addiction. In Eugene, Midtown Direct Smoke Shop sells kratom. The owner says it's no more addictive than other products.
It's just like video game addiction. Anything too much is bad, right? A lot of people have like kind of a coffee thing in the morning, real similar.
He also says most of the customers at Midtown only use kratom short term and don't have any addiction problems. An amazing story of survival and friendship. A logger from Washington State finds himself in the woods, trapped in this sinkhole behind me. He spent nearly 24 hours underground after falling roughly 16 feet. He was working on a logging job just outside Montecito. And that's how he was found. This experienced logger always carries a whistle, and he blew that whistle throughout the night. His logging buddy, Jimmy Stennett, a former firefighter, had agreed to help him on the job the next morning. The victim here says that he drove back to an area with cell service, called the victim's wife, then called 911. And then he went back to search for his friend, who had cleverly tossed a clue above ground.
All at once, all the sticks, everything was holding me up, broke, and down I went.
Over to my left, I seen his hard hat under some ferns. So I walked over, reached down and picked it up. And when I picked it up, there's a hole about this big on the other side. And I looked down, I seen a movement, and I said, "Bill." And he looked up and says, "Jimmy."
That hat being tossed up was genius. Rescue crews arrived on scene and finally got Bill out safely. You are taking a look this morning at Capitol Hill right there. It's a live look as another government shutdown is looming. The deadline is midnight tonight, but something rare has happened. Democrats and Republicans have reached a deal. The Senate is agreeing on a rare bipartisan agreement to fund the government for 2 years. The deal includes billions of dollars for opioid treatment, disaster relief, infrastructure, and a big boost to defense spending, but the bill puts off immigration for another day. The agreement also doesn't include funding for the president's border wall.
The focus for us has always been to get a 2-year budget deal. We've made no secret the president wants funding for the wall and he wants border security, and we expect to see that reflected in the budget.
The White House says the president welcomes the Senate deal, even if it doesn't include an immigration fix. This morning, new fallout from another major resignation at the White House. A top Trump aide quit amid allegations of domestic abuse. Sources say top White House officials knew for months about domestic violence allegations against one of President Trump's most trusted advisors, Staff Secretary Rob Porter. Porter is accused of abusing his 2 ex-wives. The women first came forward to tell their stories in the Daily Mail and The Intercept. Porter resigned, releasing his own statement saying these outrageous allegations are simply false. I took the photos and the reality behind them is nowhere close to being described. I've been transparent and truthful about these vile claims.
The president and chief of staff have had full confidence and trust in his abilities and his performance.
Overnight, a new statement from Chief of Staff John Kelly expressing shock, saying there is no place for domestic violence. I stand by my previous comments and believe every individual deserves the right to defend their reputation. It's unclear when Trump knew about the allegations, but the White House says Porter was not forced out. Porter's second wife told the Washington Post about an alleged attack after their first anniversary.
He came and grabbed me by the shoulders here and pulled me out of the shower in a rage.
In 2010, that second ex-wife got an emergency protective order against Porter. He's called the allegations against him a coordinated smear campaign. The owner of Tasteries Bakery in California celebrates after a local judge ruled in her favor in the case brought against her by a same-sex couple. The couple took a complaint to the California Department of Fair Employment and Housing, who then brought a suit against Tasteries and Miller based on the Civil Rights Act. Judge David Lamp ruled in favor of Miller in a preliminary injunction Monday. In his ruling, Lamp said that no baker may place their wares in a public display case and then refuse to sell. But Lamp also said the difference here is that the cake in question is not yet baked. He goes on to say the state was trying to get Miller to create a cake that would be displayed in a union her religion forbids, making this a freedom of speech issue and saying the First Amendment outweighs the state's interest.
We were screaming and jumping and shouting for joy and praising the Lord.
On the other side, the attorney for the couple says they aren't done. In a statement sent to a local news outlet, their attorney says they are disappointed but not surprised by the ruling, but it's not over. Our fight against bigotry and discrimination is only beginning. A judge in Nevada ruled that Las Vegas police have to release all documents from the department's investigation of the October 1st shooting that killed 58 people and wounded more than 500 more. That includes all video evidence and body camera footage. Las Vegas police have so far refused to release all of that footage that recorded the incident.
Defendants have failed to produce by a preponderance of the evidence, failed to prove by a preponderance of the evidence that any of the requested records are confidential. The strong public interest in disclosure, together with the strong presumption in favor of production, outweighs any governmental interest.
The ruling excludes any information or video that identifies victims or reveals their personal information. The department has 30 days to comply with the order. Police body cam video is often used by law enforcement officials to improve their responses to emergencies. The city of Eugene unveiled its vision for its parks plan. Find out when you'll see changes, and that'll be coming up right after the break.
We are looking at mostly sunny skies again this afternoon. However, a cold front will sweep on in later today. Find out what it means for your forecast. Will you see rain? So that coming up after the break.
Now, Storm Tracker 9 weather with meteorologist Dave Holder.
And welcome back, everybody. Let's go out towards the coast right now, looking at the city lights of Florence, and we are looking at a cool start with some patchy fog out there. 42 degrees currently, mostly clear skies. That will change later on today. There are your temperatures across the board. You could see the Willamette Valley once again is the colder spot. 37 in Corvallis and Cottage Grove, 38 right now in Eugene, and 40 in Roseburg, 43, the warm spot in Coos Bay. And that's, of course, unless you're going across the Santiam Pass right now, where they're checking in at 47 degrees at this hour. Here's our Storm Tracker 9 satellite radar. And if you've been watching us the last couple of days, you know that jet stream was pretty amplified. It's kind of flattened out a little bit. Bottom line is it's going to allow a couple of storm systems to roll on in. But it's not particularly energized, and there's not a lot of moisture to work with. So we're not going to be looking at a lot of rain, but something's better than nothing, right? As we zoom on in, again, a few high clouds starting to stream on in from that next system. Best chance for clouds right now are up towards the north and back out towards the coast. But it is dry currently. Let's roll Stormcast, see if we can find any rain. Later this morning, we'll be looking at the clouds thickening up over Lincoln County there. And there will be a little bit of light precipitation starting to form by late this afternoon. Best chance will be along the coast, mainly to the north here. Call it from Florence north, and maybe a few light sprinkles up across the Cascades, and it will be in the form of rain at snow elevation up to 6,500 feet. Now, the clouds will increase for everybody's neighborhood late tonight into early tomorrow morning, and there could be a light shower here in Corvallis, Eugene, Junction City, possibly by the morning hour tomorrow. After that, we're going to dry out, keep the clouds around tomorrow. Temperatures will be noticeably cooler for many areas. And then as we head on in towards Saturday, we're going to be looking mostly dry. It looks like a few snow showers, but on the other side of the Cascades, we'll keep it dry, sunny, and then the next chance for precipitation looks to be on the latter half of Sunday. Taking a look at your regional forecast today. Highs in the mid-50s out there today. 54 Reedsport, 56 Coos Bay, 53 in Newport. Again, those clouds will thicken up from north to south today with a slight chance of a light shower. Better chances the further north you go. The Umpqua Basin, 64 in Roseburg, 62 for Elkton. Patchy fog out there this morning, reduced visibilities, but relatively warm, well above average temperatures by this afternoon. Low 60s for Mackenzie Bridge and Oak Ridge. Temperatures getting up to low 50s for the mountain passes. Not good for the snowpack. A slight chance for a light rain shower, just some drizzle later this evening. And 59 in Eugene, 58 in Corvallis. We'll call for 60 degrees on the nose here in Cottage Grove. Patchy fog out here this morning. Looks like the majority of the fog right now is found up towards Corvallis. We'll see some sun by the afternoon, but those clouds will also roll on in later this evening. Here's your 7-day along the coast, 56. Tomorrow, 51. Slight chance of a light shower in the morning, but then drying out through Saturday. Next chance will be Sunday afternoon, high 52. We could get a few more isolated rain showers here, but then drying out and temperatures in the mid-40s by the middle of next week. The Umpqua Basin, 64 today with mostly sunny skies. 53 tomorrow, so that cold front will make things cooler, but still no precipitation in the Umpqua Basin. Morning clouds and afternoon sun with the next chance with some very cool temperatures early next week. The Cascades, sunshine up there today. Late clouds this evening with a slight chance for a light shower. Slight chance again tomorrow morning, and then drying out. Maybe a few flurries by Sunday afternoon, but that's about it. In the Willamette Valley, 59 today. Morning fog leads to afternoon sun. 40 degrees tonight. 51 tomorrow. We'll see some clouds around out there tomorrow morning. Could be a few light sprinkles on the car as you wake up for your Friday morning commute. Dry Saturday, morning clouds, afternoon sun. Then temperatures fall into the upper 40s for highs to end the weekend into early next week. Slight chance of a light shower by Sunday afternoon into Monday, but certainly not what we need. And it does look dry after that into the middle of next week.
You know, I just took a look at Willamette Pass's website, and the headline is they're closed, obviously, because they're experiencing record warmth.
Really?
That's what their website says, yeah.
Temperatures in the upper 40s right now across the Santiam Pass. So, yeah, it's abnormal, no doubt about it.
Okay, Dave, thank you very much. Coming up on KEZI 9 News this morning, a big celebration for the big game. Find out how Eagles fans are welcoming home the Vince Lombardi Trophy for the first time ever.
Live, local, late breaking. This is KEZI 9 News This Morning with Brian Anderson, Sean Cuellar, and meteorologist Dave Holder.
Well, if you're thinking of something to do today, take advantage of the sun and visit one of Eugene's city parks. And we just found out the city of Eugene unveiled its vision for its park plan. What could those parks look like in the next 10 to 30 years? More than 12,000 Eugene residents helped shape this plan. It includes new and renovated parks and trails, better access to the Willamette River, revitalized pools and community centers, and improved natural areas. All said, there are more than 250 projects included.
Parks and recreation system is really important to Eugene's quality of life. It's important for our own health and wellness, for our economy, for our youth, and for the environment.
City councilors will consider moving 2 funding measures to the May 2018 ballot to pay for this plan. Now that the big game champions are back home, Eagles fans are flocking to Philadelphia to congratulate their team. The city is holding a victory parade today, and it starts at 11 Eastern time. A big bonus for some, everyone 21 years or older gets some free beer at any of the bars along the parade route. The free beer deal comes from a bet made by Eagles player Lane Johnson. Nice. Here's something new from China. This is the world's first passenger drone, taking someone for a spin around a city in China. The passenger is not piloting that drone. It's actually being controlled by an automated system. The company says that it can carry a single person for around 20 minutes. Not sure if I trust that one. Oregon auditors say marijuana businesses could be hiding violations because there's not enough safeguards in the state's pot tracking system. In this morning's Managing Marijuana, the Oregon Secretary of State's office recommends the Oregon Liquor Control Commission tighten security. Every marijuana business in Oregon must report inventory and sales to the agency daily. But auditors say the system is open to false information because marijuana businesses can easily manipulate sales data and inventory levels before sending them to the state. Another concern, there isn't a standard unit by which all businesses have to measure their marijuana in the tracking system. A new audit by the Oregon Secretary of State says the regulators in charge of tracking the state's recent marijuana business have been too lax on the hundreds of licensed growers and stores. The audit of the Oregon Liquor Control Commission comes after U.S. Attorney convened a summit last week to address what he called a massive problem with the state's marijuana surplus winding up on the black market. We're back in just a moment.
Now, Storm Tracker 9 weather with meteorologist Dave Holder.
We've been talking about that rain deficit. Let's go ahead and take a look at your almanac here and see what it's at now. Now, your temperature today is expected to get up to 59 degrees. That's 9 degrees, almost a full 10 degrees above our average for this early February day. But yeah, it's that rain deficit that we're most concerned about. It has now grown to 8.15 inches, and that is significant considering that we're usually supposed to be getting about 27 inches. So we are running quite a bit short of our normal precipitation amounts. There's a live look at Beltline right now, watching traffic moving along smoothly. Also have a live shot for you on the Ferry Street Bridge here, looking at traffic there to the south. Again, roads are good. Really haven't had much of problems out there with the roads. Of course, without the rain, roads are obviously dry. And not much in the way of fog out there this morning. The air is pretty dry. Brian and I were just talking about it. The air being dry has allowed the temperature to drop quite a bit during the night, so we have had some pretty chilly mornings out there, but also that the daytime highs have been warming up, obviously. We're looking at temperatures getting about 10 degrees above average today. Let's take a look at the passes, and record warm temperatures up in the passes, melting the snow. Roads are looking good, though. The temperature, oh my goodness, 47 degrees right now at this hour across the Santiam Pass. Very warm. All right, there is live traffic 9. Keeping an eye on that traffic for you. Looks like a little bit of a slowdown there, possibly by West 11th. I know traffic can increase there pretty easily. It does look like we're getting a little bit of a slowdown there right now. No big deal. There is the Roseburg area, and we are watching this fog. Fog very dense down in Roseburg this morning. There's the Garden Valley exit. Hard to see in front of you when you're looking at visibility reduced like that with that fog that thick. So you got to keep a distance and with you and the car in front of you, and give yourself a few extra minutes. Looking at your 4-city forecast now. Temperatures getting up to the upper 50s for Corvallis and Eugene, 64 today in Roseburg, and 56 in Coos Bay. Brian, send it back to you.
Coming up at 6, baseball players in Eugene are helping hurricane victims in Puerto Rico. We'll show you what the Eugene Emeralds are doing to help in those relief efforts coming up at 6. And you're taking a live look from our KEZI 9 News Skycam looking over Eugene this morning. A busy 6 a.m. newscast coming right up. Don't go away.